What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, and welcome to my 1999 Ford Contour SVT.
Performance, substance, exclusivity, and value. Introducing the 1998 SVT Contour.
So what is the Ford Contour SVT? Well, the Contour came out in the US in 1993 and had an option with a 2.0 liter engine or the Duratec 2.5 liter, which pushed about 170 horsepower. So in 1998, the SVT team, which stands for Special Vehicles Team, you may be familiar with the Ford SVT Cobra and the SVT Lightening, two amazing cars. Well, they were put in charge of taking the Ford Contour and making it into a faster, sportier car. And they did this by taking the 2.5 liter Duratec V6 engine, which is a 24 valve dual overhead cam engine, and bumping it up from the 170 horsepower to 195 horsepower in 1998. They took this even further in 99, which this is a 1999, and bumped it up to 200 horsepower. They managed to get this nearly 30 horsepower gain through simple mods like porting the intake manifold, opening up the exhaust, and regrinding the cams. So pretty impressive that this is still a naturally aspirated car pushing 200 horsepower. And back in the day, I remember the Honda SI and Toyota guys being afraid of this car, and that's what I remember. And this is why I picked this one up, because it has a history of memory for me. I graduated high school in '99, and this was one of the cars to get. So let's go ahead and take a look at the one that I purchased. So the one I purchased comes in a very rare color. It's a tropical green, and in '99, they only made 503. Now, besides the engine modifications, the SVT came with pretty impressive braking and handling performance. Up front, it was suited with nearly 11-inch rotors and about 10-inch in the rear. They are single piston calipers, but it did brake pretty well. Now, one of the most impressive things about this car is the rear suspension. The rear was fitted with a multi-link system that would give you mechanical rear steering, so very cool for the time. Now, the rims that are on there are SVT rims, but these are upgraded from the past owner. They're going to be 17-inch, and I just threw some brand new Firehawk tires on there, and this thing drives amazing. I absolutely love how it sticks to the road. This was fitted with 16-inch similar 5-spoke rims, just not chrome, from the factory in '99. So this does kind of match up with the era, and I do like the way they look. So what they did for the SVT Contour is added a lower body kit, which really accents the lines. They also added dual exhaust and a lower valance. Now, these exhaust tips are aftermarket ones that the previous owner did add, and I really like the way they look. Now, the previous owner did modify the front grille as well as that rear valance. I do like the lower section of it, but I am absolutely going to change out this front grille, and I have a really cool idea of what I'm going to do. He did include the original front grille piece. So what modifications and upcoming videos do I have for this car? So originally when I bought it, I figured I would just keep it stock and maybe just clean up and fix some of the small things that were broken. But as I drove it, I just really enjoyed the way the exhaust sounded, and I wanted to put a Borla exhaust on there. I've done some research, and that'll give you that nice deep, throatier sound. I've also kind of went back and forth between MagnaFlow, but I think I'm gonna go with the Borla exhaust out the back, and we're gonna go ahead and probably put an OBX header with a Y pipe on there, and that is one of the mods that a lot of people do because the Y pipe is extremely restrictive on this, and we'll go over that when we do that video. So I also went ahead and ordered a Weapon R intake, and from my research, it's really going to open up that amazing intake noise. The last mod that I know I'm definitely going to do is swapping out this shifter. We're going to be doing a short throw shifter that's also going to be a shorter shifter. If you look at this thing is extremely long, almost like a truck shifter, and it just bothered me from the beginning. The original owner owner had a different shift knob on here that was horrendous, so I went and put this Steeda one on here just for the time being. Now, outside of those modifications, we'll probably eventually do some sort of braking upgrade, some sort of suspension upgrade. But before that, I do want to try to tackle a full paint restoration. Even though this paint is very good, when you get close, you'll see there is some clear coat peeling along the door here. And one of the major things that I want to repair is this rust spot up front. The gentleman who had it before me said that started as a very small chip and eventually became that over the years. Outside of that, I'm just gonna really enjoy this amazing, iconic car that is kind of forgotten about. Now, outside of those minor modifications, the only other thing that has been done is the mid-pipe resonator has been removed, and this engine does have an amazing sound to it from the factory. Removing that mid resonator does not do a whole lot to the sound, but it does accentuate it. We will do a nice startup for you guys. I'll rev the car and we'll take it for a drive. But first, let's check out the interior and talk about what Ford did for the interior. So the car did come with a keyless fob, and it has lock, unlock, panic, and trunk pop. Let's take a look at the trunk first. So the trunk is a very roomy trunk, as you guys can see. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. I was very surprised at how small this car was, but how large the trunk was. Now let's go ahead and step into the car, and it's pretty basic in here. It does have a leather-like or leather material. Not sure if this is true leather. It is extremely comfortable. That is one thing I've got to say. These are probably the most comfortable seats in any standard vehicle that I've ever driven in outside of an SUV. They are very fluffy, and they do give decent support on the side bolsters. Your doors, everything's pretty basic tan, but you do have options with power windows, power locks. You do have a sunroof. Mine is missing the piece of plastic that will be replaced, and my sunroof is unoperable right now because the motor is not functioning, but it did come with a sunroof. And all SVTs, the Contour models, came with a 5-speed manual. That is a very smooth shifting manual. I have to say, I absolutely love driving this car. Pretty standard dash. We step in the back seat here. Decent room. You can definitely fit some kids back here. Not a lot of leg room for adults, but let's go ahead and pull down the armrest. It does have that in the middle, which is nice. Outside of that, for safety features, it does have dual airbags up front, which was pretty common in '99. This would not have come standard with this radio, obviously. It would have came with a standard Ford radio. Pretty basic control knobs for your air conditioning. And this one here is very weird. So it's got padding up here, almost like they took something that was supposed to be placed in a center here and flipped it and put it right up in there. Let's take a look at the gauges on the SVT Contour. Very cool. All the SVTs that I know of in the time came with these white gauges, and they really set this car apart. It was something really unique during the late 90s, early 2000s to have. And that about sums up the interior. Let's go ahead and start this up so you guys can hear the exhaust and the intake that has a nice growl to it. So let's go take it for a drive. Now this car has really good AC. Like I've said, the seats are extremely comfortable. 200 horsepower, and back in the day, that was what you wanted. You were really trying to get something in the 200 horsepower range so you could race against those Honda Civics, the Eagle Talons. Those are the vehicles that I remember from the time that you wanted to beat. Mustangs were in a different league because they were so modifiable and they were not the 4- and 6-cylinder engines. Like I said, this 5-speed is a very smooth shifting 5-speed, and my favorite part about this engine is when it opens up right around 4,500 RPMs and you can hear the intake and the cam open up like you would on a VTEC. So I'll try to get it to that for you guys. Also, this thing did about a 7.6 second 0 to 60. I could be wrong. I'll put it on the screen. Somewhere in the mid 7s is where it was at. Not that fast, but definitely not slow for the time, and it feels very quick. So the throttle response on this car is one of the best that I've felt in a long time, and I really enjoy taking this car around town. So let's go ahead and take it out. Braking is really good. Just overall driving of this car is very enjoyable. I've got to say, this will definitely become one of my daily drivers. Something I have been looking for is a small horsepower daily driver that's manual, and this is probably going to take that. As you can see there, you can hear the intake open up, and it just sings a glorious song, and I love it. I could drive this thing around all day down back roads doing 40-50 miles an hour and just have a big smile on my face. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about this car, the uniqueness, the sound. I mean, I was shocked by how well this car sounded, how the throttle response was, and I'm just really enjoying it. I honestly plan to keep this car for quite some time because it was one of those unicorns that I saw in high school and never really thought I would ever buy one in the future. And now I came across it on an ad and picked it up, and I'm enjoying it. So once again, guys, you have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll catch you on the next video.